Hello, my name is Harmony Jarrett, and I wish I could be there in person today, but I thought I would at least send a video so I could share some of my unique perspective. I am an educator. I worked in the Olathe School District for about 12 years. I was first a general school aide, instructional aide, para in the gifted program, and then also a teacher. So I've kind of worn all the hats, and I taught kindergarten and I taught fifth grade. I had anywhere from first year kindergarten 24 students, and then my fifth grade classes were generally about 25 to 27 students here in Olathe. And the last year I was teaching was 2017, and I gave birth to my son and found out right before I went back to work after maternity leave, when he was about 2 months old, that he's deaf. And so I'm not only an educator with a mainstream background for public school, hearing school, I also have a deaf child, and now I'm a teacher at KSD. I have had a lot of unique experiences. Shortly after my son, we found out he was deaf, I became involved with anything KSD outreach allowed us to be involved in, whether it was signing up for free in-home ASL classes or Deaf Mentor, and have been highly involved in the deaf community ever since. And I sit on the Kansas Commission for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing as a parent representative. I'm also on the Early Hearing Detection and Intervention Advisory Board as a parent representative, and I've been doing that since probably about 5 or 6 years now. I also just finished my deaf studies and ASL certificate at Johnson County Community College last year, and have been very active just socially with deaf friends in the deaf community and have really loved it. I love KSD. I love the deaf community. KSD is a wonderful place for our children. I also do some volunteer work for Children's Mercy. I've been involved in some of their parent family advocacy committees and helping educate and help them with one of their clinics that recently opened, gave them some input for what parents need to know about children who are born deaf and hard of hearing and how we can support their language at home. So I've had a lot of unique experiences, and I would say the most eye-opening one has been being a teacher at KSD this year. As much experience as I've had in education and in the deaf world, I had no idea what is really going on here until being a part of the staff, and have just been honestly amazed and literally speechless, but also figuratively speechless, and in awe of how hard our teachers, our paras, our principals, and our superintendent are working on behalf of these kids. So I want to put my mom hat on for a minute and just say, first of all, I was really surprised that we had a parent organization. I was aware of a Blessings hospitality team that I helped with a little bit last year, but I had no idea that there's a new parent organization until I think Tuesday. I received an email from another parent who spoke at the Board of Ed, and I just was able to watch the Board of Ed meeting that Bree and Zach Wentz and Scott Plummer and one other parent shared at. I had no idea. I'm also a teacher, and I have not heard anything about this or passed along any information to any of my parents, so I don't know if all the parents are really aware that there is an organization. I'm happy to be a part of it. Excited parents are interested, want to get involved. It's really hard since we're not a local school district. Many of our parents don't live in the area or are just not able to be as involved as they would like to, since we are serving all of Kansas in our building. So first of all, I was really surprised to hear about that, and I'm glad. I was also really surprised to hear so many complaints and concerns. My child has been at KSD since he was 3 years old, and he has done amazing. He is currently an 8-year-old who is in second grade technically, but due to his need for more of a challenge and more his IEP goals and where he's at academically, he is currently in the third grade class at KSD, since that is what matched his academic ability better. I think, in fact, his reading level is fifth or sixth grade reading level. His writing, math, everything is great. on level, if not above level. However, KSD is really good at looking at the whole child. You can't take a kid who's 8 and put him in a 6th grade class with 12-year-olds. It's just not socially appropriate. It is not what's best for the whole child. And so I think KSD has done an amazing job of meeting my child where he's at. He's always needed a little bit of a challenge. We do have a language-rich environment at home, which means we sign. And I'm fluent in ASL. My husband signs. His younger brother, who's 3, can sign as much as a 3-year-old can. And we have been nothing but grateful and amazed at the work that the teachers are doing at Kansas School for the Deaf. So thank you to those of you who are listening to this. As a teacher, it was pretty upsetting to hear some of the things that were presented at the last Board of Education meeting or state board meeting. I think many parents who are talking about needing a resource room or resource teachers or reading specialists maybe don't understand the full scope of what is happening and are a little misinformed, maybe don't understand what that looks like. In a mainstream school setting, you have one room that's a resource room and one resource teacher, maybe 2 if your building's big or lucky, and the kids get pulled out of their regular classroom, do that. That's the SPED teacher. At KSD, we are all SPED teachers. We are all the resource room, and we all work with our kids one-on-one and are responsible for their IEPs. As a general ed classroom teacher, I was not responsible for writing IEPs. I never wrote one. That was all our SPED teachers. I was not responsible for checking their progress on IEP goals. That was all the SPED teachers. At KSD, we are all SPED teachers. We are all doing that work. I also am really interested to know more about reading specialists. I actually don't know if there's anything such as a deaf ed reading specialist, since reading specialists are generally trained to focus on phonics and decoding English and using phonics. Our students don't have access to phonics. So that's a really big challenge. I have been amazed at how hard the teachers work here. We have many students who are deaf plus, which means they are deaf plus have many or other disabilities or health issues that have caused them to miss school and have other difficulties. Some of them are language deprived. There's no sign language at home, and therefore they are not getting really any stimulation or language acquisition through the home, just at school. These kids are learning 2 languages at once when they don't even have a good, strong foundation in their first language of ASL. ASL and English are different languages. I try to tell people, imagine if you went to school, you had to learn to speak Spanish, but at the same time, you must also learn to read and write in French. Can you imagine? This is what we're asking our deaf kids to do, and this is why it takes a while. It takes about 5 years. Think about a normal hearing child. It takes about 5 years for them to gain enough language to be ready to go to school and start using academic language for academic concepts and abstract concepts. When we have students who come to KSD with no language, it still takes 3 to 5 years to gain enough social and foundational language to help them then learn academic skills and abstract concepts in language. So our students are working twice as hard as a normal hearing student. And our teachers, I would say, are working maybe 3 times as hard as other teachers, and all teachers work hard. I would finally like to say, we do need more money. We need more funding. We need more paras. We need more teacher. This is not new. This is not just now. This is not just KSD. As a country, I think many people would agree that our education system could use work. There's always a need for more teachers. There is always a need for teachers to be paid better and to be supported better in whether it's through legislation or parents, anything. I am really happy that there are parents speaking up about their concerns, because it is important as parents that we speak up and take responsibility for our children and their education. I am hoping that I can join this organization. I don't know when the meetings are or who to talk to about that, but I would love to be a part of that. I think I have a lot that I could share that would help everyone understand, but also I would love to learn the experiences of other families and be supportive there. As a teacher, that's important to me. Thank you to the parents who spoke up. That's a hard thing to do, and I appreciate that on behalf of my deaf child too. We all want the best for them. And I want to say thank you also To the people who've been doing this work for years and years and years, thank you, Luann, to Molly and Joella, and all the people who are working hard. I thought teaching was hard, and it is. It feels impossible some days, the tasks that we are asked to do at KSD, but we love our students. It is important work, and I hope that you will take this, learn more, and then help us out somehow. Funding, teachers, we need qualified people. We need access to those degrees. So thank you for your time and for listening.